Hi, Dan. How are you? Hey, everyone. I think Dan dropped off. I'm Lee Whittier, the Dog Show mentor, founder and host. And I'm here with Dan Sayers. Hi, Dan.
Hi, I'm back. Hello, everyone. Sorry that I'm late, a little technical glitch here. But Lee, thank you for getting us started, and welcome everyone back to Ring Ready Live, the home of the owner handler, brought to you by Showsite Magazine. As Lee mentioned, I'm Dan Sayers, and Lee is a key contributing editor to Ring Ready and Showsite Magazine. Lee is also an owner handler, multi-group judge, and she is the Dog Show mentor. And we are here every week, as many of you know, discussing all things about you, the owner handler. And today we're going to be speaking about the canine, the human-canine bond that exists between you and your dog. But before we get into that, I just want to remind everyone that this is your half hour every week to talk to Lee about all things that concern you as an owner handler. So we really encourage you to sit back, turn off your devices, get ready for technical glitches. They do happen, but Lee, obviously you've got us covered when should I drop off again. But this is your time, everyone, to enjoy. And please, I want to encourage all of you to reach out to us in the comments section here. Let us know where you're located. I know many of you are living and showing all across the US and in Canada, but we have many of you from all around the world, from every continent other than Antarctica. And we're really proud that you're here with us. We'd love to hear about you and your dog. Tell us your breed. And since we're talking about the human-canine bond, let us know if you have any questions about that specifically. And also feel free to share any stories that you may have about experiences that you've had with your dog in and out of the ring. At Ring Ready and at Showsite Magazine, we love to hear from you. We always have a space to tell your story, so don't be shy and feel free to reach out to Lee or myself. And Lee, remind everyone, how can they reach you? I know you've got the non-member Facebook page, and of course, they can become members of Dog Show Mentors. So what's the best way for everyone to find you?
Well, always through my website, dogshowmentor.com, and there's always a contact button. And I'm on Messenger. I have a Facebook business page as well. And I'm grateful to be here. I'm excited to be talking about the canine human bond. That's going to be fun. And thanks again to Showsite Magazine, Ring Ready, for making this all happen. Okay.
And Lee, you've got a special workshop happening later today, and I know you'll talk about that again at the end of our conversation, but remind everyone what's going on tonight.
Well, I created a brand new workshop called Rate Your Dog Interactive Workshop. And it's a place where you can come and talk about how at Dog Show Mentor, we look at your own dog, how to rate your own dog, how to rate your competition, and how the judges look at it. So we've got lots going on tonight. Roll up your sleeves, come on. You do need to register for that. And again, I think the details are going to be here in the chat or on the screen. And we're going to roll our sleeves up, and everybody's going to have fun.
It's going to be fun. I'll be there. I'll be representing my breed, the Irish Water Spaniel. And I know that we've got people with breeds from all 7 AKC groups. We've got your breed, the Tibetan Terrier, joining us. We've got Old English Sheepdogs. We've got the Saluki, Whippets, the Rhodesian Ridgeback, all hounds, of course, Pugs from the toy group, Cairn Terriers from the Terrier group, obviously, Papillons. Whatever your breed is, we would love to have you join us. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interactive. And I think we're all going to learn a thing or two about our dogs and how we can better present them for judges like you, Lee. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be 8 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. I'm East Coast and I'm getting confused. Wherever you are, it will be live, and you're welcome to join us. So again, we'll be reminding you about that at the end of our conversation today. Lee, before we get started with the conversation about our relationship with our dogs, we had a question last week specifically about scars. And I guess the question would be, what about exhibiting a dog with scars? How would you respond to a question about scars?
Well, I find that a lot of questions are answered by the phrase, go to your breed standard. And this is one of them. So there are two ways that I can answer this, but the first one is go to your breed standard and see what it says about scars. There are a number of standards that say honorable scars shall not be faulted, or something to that effect. And so that is your number one go-to place, is your breed standard. The second place is the AKC rulebook. So it depends on what kind of scar it is. But if it's a scar from a surgery or a repair of some kind, AKC has a list that is not all-inclusive, but it is representative in chapter 11, section 8. And if you go to the 2021 rule book, you'll find lots of answers there about what's okay and what's not okay. And as I said, it's not all-inclusive, but it is representative.
That's a really good question about scars. Obviously, some dogs and some breeds more than others, those who participate in performance events or field trials, hunting trials, etc., can certainly injure themselves resulting in scars. That reminds me of a Ridgeback that I showed years ago who had an injury. There was no visible scar. It was on her pad. But when we got to the show, it was clear that she was limping. So she was not recovered from that injury. And I just want to mention that if your dog is injured, it's best to keep her home. Would you agree with that? You as the judge, you're going to obviously see a problem with movement, but I think it's probably important to know that the care and safety of your dog is paramount, that no single competition is worth showing a dog with an injury.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the judge must excuse a lame exhibit, and it is entirely up to the judge whether they determine that it is in fact lame. But the reason for that is because we don't want dogs to be in pain. I mean, that's the number one reason, is they run around that ring enough times, they can be hurting. So just don't do it.
Yeah, in my case, it was a 5-hour drive for an 8 a.m. ring time. And when we got her out of the vehicle, it was obvious, and we didn't show her. And anyway, we did the right thing. And I just thought that I'd mention that as well while we're talking about scars. So thank you for discussing that with me. So let's jump into the question about the human-canine bond. So essentially, Lee, how can this bond that exists between an owner handler and his or her dog be utilized in the show ring?
Well, the human-canine bond, when used properly, is like a secret weapon for an owner handler. It gives them such a huge advantage in the ring, and so I want to talk a little bit about what does that mean to use it properly. You have to trust your dog and the training that you've put into them, and as you work with your dog, you develop a leadership role with that dog.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always said, and I will always continue to say every day, you are responsible for your dog's experience in the ring and for being there for your dog. And they are relying on you, particularly at first, to be that leader for them. And there are times where that role is reversed. For example, when you have a special that is very experienced and confident, right? They may take that leadership role over occasionally. And, you know, I have this story. I had this Rottweiler that I was showing years ago, and it was under a judge who loved to run them. It was in the days when we ran the dogs a lot, and we had a little bit more time, I think, in judging. And it had been raining, and I had on heavy shoes, like muck shoes. And it was probably the, 30th time around the ring, or at least it seemed like it. And, I've always been in fairly good shape, but this was too much for me. And that dog just knew that I needed help. And he just dug in, and he dragged me around that ring probably 4 more times. So there are, and he was not a special, he was a class dog. And I hadn't shown him that much, maybe 10 times, but that dog understood his role and the bond that we had together. It was really quite remarkable.
I love that story, and it reminds me, I had a similar experience with a veteran bitch that I owner handled, was showing her at a specialty as a veteran, and Lee, something happened while we were in the ring. You always hear about that electricity going up and down the lead. Well, I really felt it. And basically, now that you've shared your story, I realized what was happening was she was saying, look, buddy, we've done this a lot. I let you lead, but I'm a veteran now. Watch and try to keep up. And, and I just thought, wow, look at you today. And I told her sort of telepathically, I said, okay, if you're ready to do this today, I'll be there with you. And we did have a fun day, and it was a successful show for us. But it truly was a moment where the roles were reversed, and she took the lead, as you said. I just had to sort of not mess it up. That was my job at that point. But that was a real eye opener for me, and I realized, oh, this really happens with the veteran dog, and that's, I think, what we see with a lot of the seasoned quality handled dogs, isn't it? We see those dogs that are telling their person, their handler, hey, keep up with me, I got this. And it's beautiful to witness, isn't it?
It is. And there's that, it usually happens when a trust develops over some time, particularly with inexperienced handlers, or what I would say lesser experienced handlers, who are just developing that bond, and they understand what their role is. So maybe it's someone who's starting out, and they understand they're supposed to be the leader. And so what they're doing is they're taking their dogs to Home Depot, or they're taking their dog to the farm store, or wherever it is that people take their dogs for fun these days. And so it helps them develop that deeper understanding of each other. And so these are things that what were other people who may be just arriving at a show and picking a dog up ringside, maybe they just are getting to know the dog. Maybe it's a dog that they bred but they haven't seen for 2 years, or maybe it's a professional handler. It could be. And they haven't established that bond yet. That's the time when the owner handler goes in the ring and says, I got this. I know how to do this. I've got the dog. The dog and I are a team. I'm the leader. I'm going to remind him or her what to do and really go for it. And I'm wondering if we've got some people who have stories about that very thing, about feeling that bond with their dog and feeling like it's a huge advantage to them in the ring. And as a judge, I notice that. I see when a handler, whether it be owner or professional, these quality handled dogs, you as an owner handler have that opportunity to have that quality handled dog at the end of your lead. And it's quality handled because you have that bond. You've done your work. You've done your training. You've got your whiteboard out and you've got your training schedule on it. And some days it might be that training schedule might be grooming, or it might be stacking work, or it might be lead work, or you have all the different things you want to work on. And as someone who owns your own dog and mostly lives with you, I mean most owner handlers, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say the dog lives with them. So it's exciting to see as a judge that the responsiveness of the dog, and that's something we're going to talk about tonight, is that dog alert and vibrant and responsive. And there are some breeds that you're going to see more responsiveness than others from. We know that there are breeds where the breed standard actually says that they should not be penalized for being aloof, or they're not given to indiscriminate friendships, right? Relationships. So, yeah, that bond is powerful, and use it to your advantage, right? Use it to your advantage.
You mentioned a moment ago the word trust, and like every relationship, the human-canine relationship is based on trust. And once you've established trust, your dog and you and your dog, anything is possible, whatever your goals are. And I think that the Dog Show Mentor can help each of us to work with this bond that we share with our dog to achieve our goals. And you mentioned the whiteboard and the tasks of the day. I love that, because achieving our goals just doesn't happen by hoping it's going to happen, does it?
No, go from hoping to training, absolutely, and go from hoping to winning. But yeah, hope doesn't cover it. And I've been known to say that go from hope to Dog Show Mentor, and you'll find more success.
I can attest to that. So yes, there's many ways to seek help from the Dog Show Mentor. And Lee, I just had a quick aside. A lot of us have great success in our backyards with our dogs. The bond that we share with our owner handled dog is never stronger than in our backyard. But when we step into the ring, something happens. And oftentimes as owner handlers, we blame the dog. And we say, oh, why did you do that? You did it so well this morning in the backyard. Do you have anything to say to those of us who have maybe made that excuse once or twice in our handling career?
Wow. Yeah. I think that oftentimes people who are showing dogs who and it's not the thing about what I'm going to say is it's not limited to any group of people. It is across the spectrum that people just get nervous, right? I mean, it's a physical response, right? And so when you get nervous, it goes down the lead to your dog. And that human-canine bond, sometimes your dog is going to pick up on that and be, I got you. I got your back. And other times they're going to be, I don't know what's going on here. That's not how she set me up at home. maybe let me fix this. So often I'll see this. You can't believe how often I see this as a judge. The dog sets their front perfectly, and then the owner or the handler comes and resets it, and the dog
That never happens.
and then the dog shifts because it's not comfortable, because that's not where it naturally stands.
Right.
Because the person who's stacking it doesn't, right? So if you're nervous, you're not doing the things in the same order that you normally do. Maybe you're going to sit the rear before the front, or the front before the rear. You're become discombobulated. It just happens sometimes. And at that point, you have to be as gentle as you can with your dog and with yourself, and go with it. Go with it. Just understand that you're having a moment, and literally that take a deep breath. Never more apropos, right? Just take a deep breath, feel your feet, right? And do some grounding, and look at your dog and go, okay, we got this. We can do this. We got each other's backs.
Yes. And you can help the nervous exhibitor as a member of Dog Show Mentor to develop those skills to handle the nerves. As you said, everybody has them. Anybody who's been at the floor of Madison Square Garden, no matter how many times they've been there, the nerves are going to shake them. And there are certain skills that can help each of us to manage those, and therefore help us help our dog in the process.
You have to rely on your training, right? And you have to rely on your dog's training. And that's why I recommend people write down their goals and write down what they want to accomplish every day, or every week, or every month, or every quarter, right? What do you want to get out of this? And when you do, your dog understands that there's a plan and there's an action plan. Because without an action plan, you got nothing, right? So when your dog understands these things, it makes that relationship even stronger. And I think I mentioned this earlier, but the gentlest that you can be is the best you can be. Those handlers that have exceptional hands, what we call that, they've got hands. They say that, right? It's a feel, like if anyone has ever ridden a horse. Your hands, you feel the bit with your hands, the horse's mouth, right? So it's the same feeling with a dog. Sometimes that those reins are a little looser than others, but you're always feeling with the lightest touch possible. So that bond it's bolstered, right? That bond is exactly how you imagined it would be when you thought that I'm going to show my dog.
Yeah. This is wonderful. All of us, anybody who has a dog has a bond with their dog, hopefully. But if your goal is specific, if you've established a goal for yourselves, we've been talking about ways that you can utilize that bond by implementing certain skill sets, if you will, to just strengthening the bond. I love that you're mentioning being gentle. Every dog deserves a gentle touch, no matter how big or small the dog is. And I know that as the Dog Show Mentor, you're ably equipped to help each of us to, not only achieve our goals, but to just have that bond that we share with our dogs enhanced in the best way possible. And that's individual to each of us. I mean, everyone who's listening has a relationship with their dog that's unique and specific to the pair. And again, I want to encourage all of you to reach out to Lee and I. We genuinely would love to hear your stories. We've been sharing personal stories here today about our experiences in the ring with dogs that we developed a bond with, but we know that you have done the same. Or maybe you've got your first show dog and you're just beginning your journey. And some of what you're hearing here today is either giving you some aha light bulb moments, or maybe you can say, oh yes, I tried that and I know that it works and I want to learn more. So if you do want to learn more, again, reach out to us at ringready@showsitemagazine.com. Reach out to Lee directly, either on her non-member Facebook page or at the Dog Show Mentor. And Lee, that address again would be, how do they find you again at Dog Show Mentor?
Well, you can email me at lee@dogshowmentor.com. You can find me on Facebook. I have a business page, and you could go to the Dog Show Mentor Owner Handlers Facebook page and join that group. It's free, and we have some good interaction there. And I wanted to add, Dan, that it's fascinating to watch the transformation that people make when they understand how to create that bond with their dog and then act on it. And it really is, it's fascinating to watch people in that transformation. Yeah.
And we're all capable of being transformed, aren't we? You know, sometimes with our dogs, we sometimes feel like we've hit a roadblock or a wall even with our dog, and we think, I just can't get past A, B, or C. You can get past it. You know, there is something that's either happening or not happening, but there are ways that having a coach and a mentor can allow an owner handler to work through those roadblocks and get to the other side, achieve those goals, whether it's a win this coming weekend or whether it's something that is 1, 3, 5 years away. It's all certainly achievable if you have the support and if you have a willingness to work with the bond that you have with your dog. Tonight, Lee, again, is a workshop that you're offering free. I'll be there. A lot of other people are going to be there as well. There's still room for more. This is an interactive virtual masterclass. And Lee, before we finish up here today, can you tell us a little bit about what's going to happen this evening and how we can expect to be mentored in our class?
Well, what's really fun about this is it's a workshop. And so that means that you roll up your sleeves and get working on it. So what we're working on is learning how to rate your dog. And you can be so much more competitive when you understand what your dog's strengths are and what their weaknesses are, right? Because no dog is perfect. I know we all like to think our dog is perfect, but they aren't. They really aren't. And so we're going to find out. We're going to focus on the virtues, and you're going to bring your breed standard, and I'm going to provide a rate your dog card, and there are 3 sections, and under 3 sections there are 3 sections, because if you've worked with me before, you know I love 3s, and we're going to figure out, you know, how your dog measures up to your standard, how your dog compares to some of the competition, and how maybe some judges will look at your dog based on how it compares to the standard. So we're going to have fun. There is a small charge for it, but please email me or go right to the website dogshowmentor.com, and you'll find a button. And I think there's in the chat there's going to be a link. So yeah.
Wonderful. You know that I love how you always bring things back to this to the breed standards or how you start. And your answer is with, hey, dummy, go to your breed standard. And that's what we're going to be doing tonight. I believe that you can't read your standard too often. There's information there that we miss. And there's information there that we don't quite read as written sometimes, but it is fascinating. But tonight we're going to have our individual breed standards open during the master class. And again, I encourage everyone to join me as a student of the Dog Show Mentor this evening. That's going to be 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. And as Lee said, it's going to be a lot of fun. And maybe next week, Lee, we can discuss, maybe summarize a little bit about the workshop and how it went. And I'll certainly be sharing my experiences with everyone. So thank you, everyone, for joining Lee and I again for episode 8. Next week, we will be returning for episode 9, again at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And again, I encourage you to reach out to Lee and myself. We would love to hear from you and hear about your experiences as an owner handler and the bond that you share with your dog. So until we meet again, whether that's tonight or next Wednesday, have fun with your dogs.
See you in the winner's circle.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.